What are your core beliefs? You must recognize them, and you must live by them, or you will never be free. You will be someone else's puppet. I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe in an all-powerful, ever-present, all-knowing presence, which operates in a very exact manner, more commonly referred to by law. I believe this power will give me what I ask for every time and without exception. If I ask for the strength to walk where I have never been before, the strength will be there when I need it. If I need a creative idea to solve a problem, I will be inspired at the right moment. I believe in the law of opposites. If you can see a negative situation, you know there is a positive hidden somewhere within the situation, and if you seek, you will find. If risk is to expose oneself to a chance of loss, by law, you must also be exposing yourself to a win. However, you must keep in mind that the laws are exact and must be understood. The law of polarity, or as we previously referred to it, the law of opposite, does not merely state that everything has an opposite. It is equal and opposite. If the risk is small, the win will be as well. However, the size of the risk you take is not that important. What is important is that you absolutely refuse to play it safe. Taking small risks will lead to larger ones. Big trees grow from small seeds. How true that is. Risk-taking should be a subject taught in school, along with reading and mathematics, and it is a subject that could be taught. You can teach anyone anything. Unfortunately, very few people were taught anything constructive about risk-taking when they were children. When we were children, our little ears were constantly hearing, "Be careful, you might fall." What do they mean, might fall? We did fall. We're going to fall. Where the heck did they get this might stuff from? Think of how much better equipped we would be to face life's challenges and succeed regardless if we had repetitively heard, "Take a chance and don't worry about falling, because you're going to fall." Often, falling is an important part of learning. Many of the greatest lessons you will receive in life are going to come from falling, from your failures. Failing will never make you a failure unless you quit. Unfortunately, very few people heard that when they were small. The vast majority of our population have been mentally programmed to play it safe. Why do we enter the world one way and for most people leave another? Why is it that we do not see the process of reaching our goals as having steps similar to the ones the baby must take in order to learn to walk? There will be some stumbling and falling in the learning process, but success can only be reached when we are prepared to take those steps, all of them, even the ones where we may fall down. You must constantly challenge yourself. When I was a youngster in school, I participated in track and field. Pole vaulting was my specialty. It was the one event I seemed to do much better at than others. I clearly remember I knocked that crossbar flying more often than I cleared it. I also remember I was not a very enthusiastic kid when that happened. I suppose knocking the bar off left me with a feeling that I had failed. And as I remember, no one advised me of anything different. Reflecting on those days, I can clearly see those times would have been a tremendous opportunity for the teachers to help me understand one of life's greatest lessons. But it never happened. It would be for many years before I learned the truth, the hard way. Reaching the goal is not success. Success is moving toward the goal. When I was knocking down the crossbar, I was attempting to reach the goal. I was stretching, giving everything I had. That could hardly be considered failing. Every time I tried to clear that bar, I was risking the ridicule of the other kids. I risked having them laugh at me when I missed, and they did laugh. They sure did. Every time I ran down the field, lowering the pole into the box, trying to vault myself over the bar, I was challenging myself. Taking risks is essential when you want to reach a goal, and the purpose of goals is growth. When you challenge yourself, you are bringing more of yourself to the surface. If you knock the bar flying today, at least you will know you're challenging yourself. You're a success. Intellectually, you know different. But it is not your intellectual mind that's controlling your behavior. That is determining the results you receive in life. Your behavior and your results are the expression of your conditioned subconscious mind. That part of your personality which is housing the ridiculous play-it-safe information, which has been passed along from one generation to the next for too long. 90-some% of us are the product of someone else's way of thinking. Make a decision right now to change. Decide this very moment there will be no more playing it safe, just freedom from now on. No more saving it for a rainy day type of thinking in your life. When people get caught up in the habit of saving for a rainy day, that's generally what they get, a rainy day. Let it go. Take a risk. Open the doors of your mind and step out where the sun shines. Make magic. No more rainy days. You may get some liquid sunshine, but no more rainy days. If you dream of living your life in a really big way, you must accept risk-taking as a very real part of the apprenticeship that you must serve. Have you sat back lately, completely relaxed, mentally played with the idea of what you plan to do with the rest of your life? If you haven't, it's a great exercise. This is a fascinating world, and you have what would appear to be almost magical powers locked up within you. You can actually call your own shots, do your own bidding. In truth, there is nothing holding you back. I clearly remember the first time I heard a motivational recording by the late Earl Nightingale. His words lit a fire inside of me, which grows brighter every day. Earl told a story about a farmer who was out walking in a field. He looked down and saw a tiny pumpkin growing on a vine. Nearby, he spotted a small glass jar. The farmer reached down and placed the tiny pumpkin inside of the small jar. The pumpkin continued to grow until it filled the inside of the jar, beyond which it could not grow. There are a number of people like that tiny pumpkin. They limit themselves. They refuse to take a risk. They never truly test the strength of their abilities. One of my favorite authors is Gurdjieff. He wrote, "The first reason for man's inner slavery is his ignorance, and above all his ignorance of himself." Without self-knowledge, without understanding the workings and function of his machine, man cannot be free. He cannot govern himself. He will always remain a slave, the plaything of forces acting upon him. This is why in all ancient teachings, the first demand at the beginning of the way to liberation was to know thyself. Know thyself is liberating advice. There's just absolutely no question about it. Imagine that you have been dealt 5 cards in a card game. The cards are lying on the table in front of you, but you don't know what cards you're playing with before you pick them up and look at the other side to see what you've been dealt. Life is much like a game of cards. It's not until you look at the other side of yourself, the inside, that you know what you have to work with.